What's up, guys? We're back at it again with another video. This time we're going to actually do a One Piece chapter, a review, rather than a live reaction. I figure it's just going to be a little easier if I skim the chapter since I've already read it. I'm just going to skim through it and give you guys really the cliff notes a whole lot easier than actually me reading all the dialogue to you. Now, before we get started, I will say briefly, for me recording, it's almost 10 p.m. on the 3rd, so I just wanted to say happy 4th of July to all of the American, I guess to everybody, but to all the American viewers who celebrate the 4th of July. It's our country's 250th birthday, and that's pretty awesome. So I hope everybody has a great day. I hope everybody's safe, but go out and do some fun stuff, whether it's shoot off fireworks, go to the beach, go to the pool, go to the lake. I don't know, just hang out with your family, do a barbecue, eat some watermelon because it's summertime. And at least where I'm at in the southeast, boy, it is hot. So if you're getting outside, make sure you stay hydrated and everybody just have a safe and fun weekend. So let's get into the chapter. It's titled 1187, The Cause. I did want to make a point to say that the cover request was done by somebody named Nabobo D420 Land. And that is got to be probably the coolest name we've ever gotten from somebody who made a cover request. So to you, Nabobo, you're a pretty cool guy. The cover request too is actually a pretty cute one. It's Reiju holding Sanji drawn as an ugly duck. He just looks like a duck that looks like Sanji. And she's like holding him and kind of protecting him from a group of 4 swans. 3 kind of normal, I guess. I mean, like they're bigger than the duck Sanji, but they're not humongous. And then 1 really big swan that actually all look like Niji, Yonji, and Ichiji, along with Judge. I will say the Judge Goose looks hilarious. I almost like his design better like this. Now, cutting into the chapter or getting started right away, we actually go back to exactly where the last chapter ended, which is going to be Luffy punching Imu right in the face. We get Loki's response to that, and then we see Imu getting shot off by Luffy's punch, which very clearly had Conqueror's Haki and Buman on it, because we see the black lightning shooting back from it. After that, we see Imu kind of doing one of these hand gestures he always does. He's doing 2 of them while flying backwards, and he shoots off these little flames that have faces on them. A brand new attack from Imu, which really, guys, isn't shocking. Imu seems to, every chapter he is in it doing any type of fighting, his arsenal seems pretty deep. Kind of like Luffy's now with Gear 5, where he kind of just does all kinds of nonsense based on how he's feeling. But the impact from that punch was serious. Probably the hardest thing Imu's been hit with so far, I'd say actually for sure. He shot through many of the giant trees in Elbaf, or I guess technically the branches of the one big tree, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And he ends up hitting, I guess, the ground. There's a pretty big explosion off that way. Then we see Loki and Luffy talking. Loki's kind of just giving it to Luffy, making sure he knows, hey, you may have hit that really good punch there, but just so you know, it's because I had already weakened him. The equivalent of, I couldn't open that pickle jar or that sauce jar, but you only got it open because I tried to open it first, and I loosened it for you. And then Luffy just looks back at him and says, dang, you look pretty beat up. You should take a break. I don't know if that's meant to be BM or not, but it's hilarious. And then one of those flames, actually, the black flame kind of balls that has a face on it, appears on Luffy, like up on his shoulder. And he's just like, huh? What's this? And then one pops up on Loki, and he's doing the same thing. He's just like, huh? What is this thing? Then we see Imu fly back up into the sky, and Luffy's just like, whoa, 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 whoa. What is this thing doing? And he's like, it's not really hot, and it doesn't hurt when I touch it. What's with this black fire stuff? And then Imu does another one of he puts up his hand this time. It looks like the back of his hand, does this symbol over top of it, and he creates a black flame that has a little symbol off of the bottom of it. And he seems to be aiming it. We then see the flames on Loki, the one flame, spread into 2, and then they actually begin to grow mouths, or, they already had mouths, they were smiling, but now they begin to talk to one another, these 2 flames. And they say, we're gonna aim above the belly, where the sword pierced him just a moment ago. And then Loki's like, what is this stuff doing, growing on me? What is this stuff? Like, and he's freaking out, and then in that moment, a massive, I'll say, sword-shaped beam, maybe, is what we want to call it. But whatever it is, maybe it's just a sword. It's a physical sword. I don't know, made from this black fire, because we do know that Zoro said that he made essentially metal bullets from the fire. So maybe this is like a sword that's kind of coming out. Either way, though, guys, it's a massive sword that once again just pierces Loki, even worse than the last one. In this one with a lot of force, you see him sit back flying from this. Like, you see his feet actually kicking up parts of the trees, like branches. And then after that, we actually cut back over to the other Straw Hats trying to free Gunko. They're dropping lightning. They're doing everything they can trying to break this thing. And it just will not break. They have no clue what it is. They're considering, is it even ice? Is it some special material that we don't know what it is that looks like ice? And then Brooks touching it, he's like, huh, yeah, I don't even think it's cold. And then Frankie walks up and touches it, and he's like, you're right. Touching it, I don't know if it's cold, actually. And then Nami's like, you guys are just inhuman, you freaks. Of course it's cold. It's ice. And then in that moment, Loki actually drops back and lands on the massive ice block. And it sends the Straw Hats back a little ways, just kind of tumbling over, falling. They're perfectly fine. But then in that moment, we get, watch out, the hammer's coming. And then we see the hammer coming down to fall on Jinbei and Nami. And just in that moment, it kind of seems to move itself or stop itself from falling. Like it tumbles back the other way. And it just starts squeaking because we already know it's Ragnir. And then he transforms and runs over to Loki. And while Ragnir is doing that, the Straw Hats are like, no way. Was he beaten? He's been stabbed in the chest and blood's like pouring out of Loki's chest. And then like Brooke goes, hey, look, guys. And the ice begins to melt. The ice started melting. Princess Shuri. And then in that moment, before we get to see if she starts to wake up or what happens, we cut back away. And we actually cut up to Luffy back on one of the trees. The fire on him, it doesn't seem to start to duplicate, but it gets bigger. And in that moment, Imu pops up behind Luffy. He uses what I would gauge as Haki, probably future sight Haki. We don't get the normal ellipses that we always do when people are typically using future sight. But we do get this little snap prediction, essentially, is what it makes me think, that he can tell, whoa, he's back there, and he instantly, like, kind of sees what he needs to do. He or sees the future, more than likely, right? So he knows this thing's about to duplicate or expand, and then he's going to hit me with a beam just like he did Loki. He doesn't even need future sight to be smart enough with battle IQ to figure that out. But once it starts to grow, Luffy grabs this thing, and my guess is when he's grabbing it, in some way he's probably using Haki and holding it in place, and then he rips it off, along with the kind of robe, or rather it's more like a cape that he has on. It looks like a feathered cape. And he throws that off, and right when he does that, Imu does this again after making that symbol, and it shoots the jacket, or the cape thing, it shoots it way off into the distance. Because, so we were right, those flames seem to aimbot, essentially, for this ability for Imu. He makes the symbol with his hand after he sends out those flames, and wherever they're going, boom, he's going to be able to hit it. Imu, after missing, we just see Luffy jumping down to the trees and jumping between them to dodge. He looks very upset, very displeased that he missed his attack. After that, we actually cut over to the Sea Cloud Port Village, or the West Village, which is, I guess, closer to where probably the school maybe the library is. But we're cutting to Summers and Zoro. It's Zoro's location. And we're getting Summers starts with like, what is this? Oh, it's one of the 3 demons. And I'm guessing the 3 demons are literally Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. I mean, if they're not, and he's calling Zoro one of the 3 demons, because Zoro very much does seem like a demon, but maybe not all the Straw Hats are demons. Maybe there's other people who are demons. Who knows? Either way, he says, a Straw Hat. Weren't you just at the village, right? What are you doing now? You're coming over here looking for a beating? And then Zoro goes, nah, you bastards ruined our feast with our friends. And then Summers responds, oh, well, we're really sorry. We're really only here to come pick up some kids, probably 10 or 20 of them, and we'll be out of your way in no time. Honestly, I've got a comrade. He should be bringing him over, and once we get him, we're going to head right on out of here. You guys can go back to whatever the heck you want. And Zoro responds, that's funny, because that's a real coincidence. I have an associate who's actually over in the village, swinging by there too, but I don't think your guy's going to be coming by here. And Summers is like, oh, and may I ask, why is that? And Zoro just gives him this sinister smile and look and says, because he'll be dead. And then in that moment, Summers uses his, his thorn fruit ability to shoot out like a row of thorns, like a massive, kind of like a pole made of thorns. And he just says, God, you really have no idea just how powerful we are, which does imply exactly what we've all figured, guys, that when blessed with one of these omens by Imu, the God's Knights are essentially on a super, superhuman level. They're probably base level superhuman, of course, because They're supposed to be the like literal like protectors of the Holy Lands. Like they've got to be powerful units. Not to say they've got to be the most powerful in the verse, but they got to be pretty tough. And now they're getting a major boost. We just cut away from that. My guess is Zoro's going to be fine. I think Zoro and Summers, honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Summers is probably going to dice him up. After that, we cut over to the West Village, where rain's continuing to pour down from the sky, and we actually get a kind of cool monologue by Sanji, where he goes, I'm starting to grasp the situation. Problem one, there's a big monster who's trying to kidnap the kids, and she's way bigger than any of the giants. That's a pain to deal with. And the mothers are crying their eyes out. That's awful. I can't stand to see the sight of that going on. But I can't help them because of problem two. The monster's a big woman, and I can't kick her because she's a woman. Now that is a major pain to deal with. And after that, he kind of looks over. We get a cut to Ripley, kind of yelling out, crying, shouting to Colin, like, yo, like, let him go, Colin. And then Colin's just, yelling back, Mom, I'm sorry I got caught again. Really, it's a pretty sad couple panels. Really does show you just how awful these mothers feel that they can't do anything to help their children. They're trying, but they can't make a difference. They're not able to hurt Zaza. After that, Sanji's like, but it's okay if I don't. While I can't stand to see a woman cry, it's alright if I don't join their fight. Because I know all I've really got to do is take you out. And right in that moment, he attacks Killing Him. Killing Him kind of responds, you really are pretty tough. And the Sanji's like, well, you know what? Look, I'm ending this here. I don't have time for this. All right? I've got to handle this and fix the problem now. And that's when Killing Him responds like, dude, you're a real idiot. Because I'm not just strong. You might be strong. I'm immortal. You cannot beat me. It's out of the question. There is no way you can take me out. But you are right with your assessment. If you were to take me out and beat me somehow, my ability would dissipate. The monster would go away. You'd save the day. You'd be good to go. And that's when Sanji responds, well, all right, Or actually, Killing Him would continue then, and he's just like, so if you want to take out the Rain God, yeah, just come on, dude. Fight me. Let's go. Bring it on. Sanji's like, I know your weakness. Alluding back to something that, guys, honestly, I think we got this conversation. I think it was right after the Rocks flashback ended and we were getting ready to come back up to the surface was when the whole Sanji and Zoro situation happened, where Zoro was directly told, again, second or third time now, you got Conqueror's Haki. And then Sanji runs up to Scopper like, what about me? Do I have it? And we didn't get an answer. Oda was saving that, and he's saving it for now because this is when we're actually going to get it. So we actually kind of get that from an idea of what that must be exactly from Killing Him, but then we're actually going to get to see the flashback itself. Because Killing Him is like, oh, that's interesting. So you're saying that you can use Conqueror's Haki? Well, shoot, go ahead and kill me then. And with the way he's saying that, it implies to me that he can probably tell that Sanji is currently not utilizing Conqueror's Haki. Or maybe they have the intel to know that he can't use Conqueror's Haki, and maybe that's why maybe Sanji is or isn't one of the three demons. Maybe the three demons on the crew can all use Conqueror's Haki. Problem is, only two of them can, to our knowledge, being Luffy and Zoro. It makes sense for Sanji to be the third one, but the fact that they called them demons does make me think, because I would say that the enemy of the gods is, the D-Clan and all. But also, it seems that the power used by the god of the world, Imu, Maki, or whatever the omen is countered directly, and their immortality by Conqueror's Haki. So just kind of straight up willpower, right? And so they're kind of, if they're anti-gods, the ability to defeat the gods, knights the gods, they must be demons. So maybe anybody who has Conqueror's Haki to them in their eyes is a demon. He does hit Sanji with his spear, and in that moment, Sanji goes flying back into one of the houses, and right after that, we actually get the flashback. Finally, guys, it has been so long since this moment. And I'll actually just read it word for word, because it's actually kind of a cool back and forth. We get the same statement from Scopper, where he was clowning him, saying, your captain is one of the 4 emperors. You should be meticulous in having his back. And Zoro's just like, oh, my bad, dude. Like, I didn't know I had Haki, and my bad, I'll do better, right? Like, I'll do better, I will. And Sanji runs up and he's like, old man, what about me? Do I not have Conqueror's Haki? And that's right when Scopper kind of looks at him, and he sits there for a second, and he says, you have the traits of one who might. But Sanji's like, really? But then he continues to say, but somehow, You seem to be burdened with painful uncertainty. You must become a king yourself if you truly wish to make Luffy the Pirate King. And in that moment, while remembering that, Sanji's on the ground thinking to himself, a king. And I'm guessing it's how can I myself be a king? How can I embody a king? And we'll finish the chapter before I kind of give my final thought on that. Because when it says the Pirate King for the end of that flashback, we get this awesome panel where it's Imu versus Luffy, where Imu's just saying, "So thou hast finally revealed them, or thyself, Joy Boy." And it says Saint Nerona Imu versus Monkey D. Luffy in this really cool old style font. And Luffy's only response is, of course, "Don't go calling me names. My name's Luffy, and I'm gonna be the king of the pirates." Now, really dope panel. Honestly, I really like the style that they're using for the writing here. Saint Nerona Imu and Monkey D. Luffy. Very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing them continue to brawl, because based on the fact that it says that, it's not just, oh, we're done. We're going to get another chapter or a couple chapters of them banging away. It's going to be awesome. But back to the Sanji point, what I'm thinking now is, with Sanji trying to figure out how he's going to be, how he can embody a king, I actually think Sanji's story has been leading up to this for a while. Not just from him being called Mr. Prince and that foreshadowing the Germa stuff and actually being a prince and all that, right? But in the past couple arcs, starting from Wano, after Whole Cake Island ended and we found out that the raid suit was on him, and he had said, "No, I'm not going to use it because, I already told them I'm not, they're not my family, whatever. I refuse and reject them, essentially." He then, like, it was almost like a childish still thing where he's like, he held too much of a grudge to be able to understand that, this technology and this raid suit could be good for you. And then in Wano, he comes to the conclusion, look, it's serious here. Luffy's already gotten, like, captured. Like, things are, this is the real deal. We're going to need to take out Kaido and take out his guys if we're going to make Luffy the king of the pirates. So we need to lock in. And to be able to protect everybody and do what I need, he ended up having to use the raid suit. He came to terms with that and accepted that. And then he actually later on again in the story, or later on rather in Wano, destroyed the raid suit, made the point to say he doesn't need it. And then he actually awakened later on, right? He actually awakens the Germa, like, enhancements that he had never had or never had. That's where his Diablo Jambe definitely comes from. But the powers he had never had. And once he awakens those powers, he's like, after that, he kind of even thinks about it. He does the whole conversation with Zoro because he's thinking, look, if I'm still not myself, right, you're going to have to kill me. And at the end of that arc and going into Egghead, we see that he is more confident. He is certain he is himself. He is just more powerful now than he's ever been before, right? So I kind of think it's been an evolution to Sanji's character, of realizing that he himself, like, he is past, his past is behind him now. He's dealt with all of his issues. And now he is a man who is on the right. He is the left hand of the man who's going to be the king of the pirates. He, in his own right, is a king. He is the greatest, probably, chef just about in the world. One of the most powerful men in the world, right? Just generally speaking, one of the most powerful characters, and he doesn't even use his arms. He only uses his legs. Like, he is such a powerful, great, cool, amazing guy. And Sanji, it's like, I feel like he is just now, through these last arcs, really developing and seeing that more for himself, and he's having to come to terms with that and understand how to embody that now. And he is certainly going to, because this is the final proof that he is going to have Conqueror's Haki. And that once he figures out how to do it, and he's got it, I bet Sanji's going to perform well with it. Probably get caught up to Zoro pretty quick in terms of Conqueror's Haki usage. But that being said, that's really all I have to say. It was a really good chapter, guys. And if you guys like this format more, where rather than reading each the speech bubbles, I kind of just give you guys more of the cliff notes as I'm going through, reading the important parts, and kind of just saying, kind of chalking it up to how I would word this chapter if it were me skimming it for you. Good chapter, though, all in all. Cool seeing Imu and Luffy fight. Not so cool seeing Imu stab Loki again. I'm tired of him stabbing my boy. But, it is what it is. I like seeing Imu's versatile attacks. He's always using a new attack, like every chapter. Getting the clashes, or the beginning of the clashes with killing him and Sanji and Summers and Zoro is really cool. And just getting to once again see Zoro, while they do have their own beef with one another and their own issues, Zoro was already at the other village and saw what was going on. He is so confident that Sanji's got this shit on lock. Your buddy, he's cooked. Because we found out your weakness is Conqueror's Haki. And while he might not know it yet, he himself is a king in his own right, and he knows he's going to realize that. Zoro does, and when Sanji awakens it, I bet Zoro will probably even make a comment. See, I knew you were going to be able to do that, or I knew you had that in you, or something along those lines, right? And they might end up doing their normal kind of attacking each other back and forth after that. But it's like they have a very cool bro friendship, even though they're constantly on each other's case. So really good chapter, getting to see all this stuff. The Sanji stuff really cool. Finally, thank God, going back to that cutaway from back when he was like, "Do I have Conqueror's Haki?" Everybody's been waiting a long time to kind of get this, and it's pretty brief, but it's what a lot of people thought. He's essentially giving him a not a yes or a no, kind of in the middle, and that's really the best thing that we figured he could give him. And now we just have to let Sanji figure out for himself how to be a king, how to be a king himself, and awaken that power within him. So. But with that being said, if you guys made it this far, please go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know if you guys like this style or this format a lot more. And if you do, I'll just go ahead and start doing it going forward. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that way you don't miss anything. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know I'm going to start releasing Hunter x Hunter chapter reviews too. Just like these, except odds are going to be doing it's... I don't know if you guys read Hunter x Hunter if you're watching a One Piece reaction or a review, but let me tell you, very different stories. The text that you get in Hunter x Hunter chapters, it's like reading a chapter of a real story. Like, it's going to be a lot of info, so I can't really do it the same way I've done these reactions, and I even think with the reviews, I'm going to have to make it as concise as possible, because I turned a One Piece chapter into a 21-minute review, and God knows I could have done this faster. So, Hunter x Hunter chapters going to take me like 45 minutes. So, with that being said, I am going to start releasing those. So if you are interested, just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That way you can catch it or keep up with them. I'll be doing chapter 411, releasing that roughly tomorrow, and then I'll be releasing chapter 412 probably on Sunday. So, like I said, I hope everybody enjoys the 4th of July. Happy birthday, America, and I hope everybody has a great weekend. Be safe. Later, guys.